Good morning, Lorain County, and welcome to this episode of the Culinary Enthusiast at the Lorain County Community College's Culinary Arts Program. Today we have Chef Tony Martorello from Bistro 83, and he's going to be doing a demo on the classic risotto dish. I think you've got some shrimp in there too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Bistro 83 is where?
We're in North Ridgeville. We're just basically on the corner of Mills and 83. We're about 3 miles south of the 90 exit.
All right. How long's Bistro 83 been around?
We've been there for a little over 2 years now.
2 years.
Yep.
I'll tell you. I had dinner there not too long ago. It was fantastic. It was very, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. We had this pork trio dish. What was it? What was that pork dish that we had?
It's a pork trifecta, actually. We do pork belly 3 different ways. One's deep fried with a Guinness, basically like a Guinness batter. One is bruleed with an ancho and sugar crusting on top. And then we do one that is actually smoked with a Cleveland bourbon barrel wood chips.
Yeah,
delicious. I can
Chef
see why
Adam
you liked it.
Yeah, it sounded delicious,
Yeah.
right? We also have Chef Adam Smith with the culinary program chef here today with us. And so, Chef, do you want to go ahead and get started? We'll kind of talk about some things as we go going. Risotto is a method of cooking that takes a little while, so we're going to go ahead and get started with that.
Yeah, we're going to get going right on the risotto because it does take a little bit of time. We're going to get this pan nice and warm here, and we're going to get some onions cut real quick. So in culinary school, we did, I'm sure you guys probably do it the same way, certain type of cut on onions to make small dice and large dice. When I was working at the country club right after, well, actually I think I was doing my externship, I decided I really was not a big fan of that cut. So this is something that I kind of teach my guys. Thank you.
Yep. I'll tell you, back when I was in industry, when I would interview people, that was one of the things that I would have all my prospective
Knife cuts.
employees do was to dice an onion. You know, just from the standpoint of making sure that they're properly dicing an onion.
I did realize that by doing this cut, I could get just about any size dice that I wanted. So I leave this part intact. I cut the whole onion so it all stays nice together, and then I tell my guys just follow the moon around.
Actually, one of the things that I'm seeing that he's cutting here is that there's a certain way to cut that onion where you can actually release some more of the water and the sugar to help it caramelize a little bit nicer. And I think the way you went about that, this is one of the ways that we teach our students too. We have them cut down and then do a nice cross cut so you get even dices out of it.
Right.
Utilize the whole product.
Cut that.
Chef, how long have you been cooking?
Let's see, it's going on 15 years now.
15 years. All right.
15 short, wonderful years.
That's right.
Glorious years, stress-free.
Well, they go by fast, though. You know, this industry, they go by quick. No doubt about that.
So we're going to get a little bit of some butter into our pan here.
Now, some people use oil. Is there a difference between using oil or butter, and what do you really want to get out of the onions here? Because a lot of people start and they feel they can make the risotto and they can get the dish going and you want the creamy texture. Is there a difference between the two?
Well, oil's going to have a much higher smoking temperature. Butter, you're definitely going to be able to burn it a little quickly, if you will. But I tend to like to use butter because it's going to add some creaminess to the risotto as well.
It's a little velvety.
Yep.
And our risotto, basically every risotto is going to consist of butter, onions, wine,
A little stock.
a little stock. Well, the stock is the main component that creams it out, but so
Some chefs tend to put some heavy cream in it too.
at the end, yeah. A
Yeah,
little bit more fat to the dish.
Right, right.
That is beautiful. So we are going to actually add some, we're going to do some bacon in here, which is going to add another layer of fat to it, basically.
All right.
Parmesan cheese, and we're just going to make it super creamy and delicious.
Let's see. Pork, cheese.
There goes the diet.
Right.
But delicious, and I think all the combination together with the fat, it actually helps pull that starch out as well during the cooking process.
So for the risotto, is this on the menu?
We've done this for a special there.
Okay.
We kind of have a small kitchen, so we are doing one of the risottos with scallops and a red wine tomato broth there, which has been our #1 seller since we've opened.
Okay.
But as of right now, because of our small kitchen, we try and go a little bit easier on our saute guy so he's not getting
Right.
pummeled. So we are going to get some bacon going here as well because they're going to take some time. I like to slow cook them. Actually, at the restaurant, we get in whole sides of Nuski bacon, or Nuski bellies, and the guys cut them down, and we do giant rondos of them. They're very large.
Nice and slow, right?
Right.
Just to render that fat out of it.
Exactly.
So you don't want to
make
get it nice and crispy then, or?
Not crispy at all. We want to just get it to where it's cooked, it's nice and browned up, the fat's rendered out of it. We'll drain some of the fat off of it, and then we're just going to add that in there. Because we've noticed that when we make some crispy lardones, they actually tend to, it almost kind of ruins the dish. You bite into the risotto and you get kind of like a crunch.
So weird texture.
Yes, exactly.
And it doesn't work with the creamy. You get, hey.
So we've got our onions going here. We're just trying to get them a little translucent, just sweat them a little bit, not necessarily caramelize them because we don't want the color of the caramelized onions in there. And while we have that going, we have our arborio rice, which is a traditional rice used for risotto. And the reason that we use arborio rice, it's a short grained rice, and it's actually going to create, we're going to cook the starches out of it basically, and it's going to become kind of sticky and creamy. It almost makes its own cream right in the pan.
Yeah, I think that short grain rice definitely is one of the things it does. It leaches out a lot of the starch and does create that creamy.
Arborio is the main component to this, and it is a short grain rice. Now, there is another rice out there, carnaroli, that sometimes when people can't find arborio, which actually is a little bit more accessible now. But have you ever worked with a carnaroli before, or is there a difference that you see between the two? Or
I haven't. I have in a pinch. I've used sushi rice before, which is really short, and it actually makes it really glutinous almost. It's really sticky.
Extremely sticky.
But I typically always go for the original.
Okay.
What was that rice, Chef?
It's called carnaroli, and carnaroli, it's actually an Italian rice too. It's a short grain rice. Doesn't have as much, I believe it doesn't have as much starch content in it, and it doesn't actually come out the same, and some people actually try and use orzo too, which is, so you can see the different renditions, but making the classic, you always use the arborio. That's what I've been told.
So, right.
Actually, I think I put too much rice in here. I'm going to pull some of that out. Yeah.
Here. Give you a little cup and throw some in there. Now, there's a measurement, I believe, that goes on, Chef, and a lot of people get confused with this and they'll follow the recipe to a T. So is there any way to judge when you add the liquid to the pan where the level should be? Is there a cooking process over the term?
We usually go for about 4 to 1
Okay.
liquid to dry. So if you have 1 cup of arborio rice, we're going to use 4 cups of liquid.
Okay.
We generally do our liquid, if you have 4 cups of liquid, we're going to use 1 cup of white wine. We're going to add that first to kind of cook some of the alcohol, some of the harshness out of it. But what I'm doing right now is it's not always done, but it's something that we kind of learned. We actually want to heat our rice a little bit, and it turns out that when we do this, we actually get a better product at the end of it. And what I tell my guys at the restaurant is when you're doing this, you'll see when you put your arborio rice into the pan, it's going to be a little translucent color, and when we heat it, you're going to cook it until it's white. It's going to kind of brighten up, and you'll see it's kind of brightening up right now. And then from there, as we add our liquid, you want to cook the white right back out of there until you just have, when we do it in the restaurant, we always, we cook a lot of it at a time, and then we chill it down, but cook it until it's about 80%. So this is something that you could do, like if you're having a dinner party or something, you could do this a day before, and you can cook your rice to about 80%, and then and lay it out onto a cookie sheet or a sheet tray, cool it down, and it'll actually crumble right up. And then the next day, when you have all your meats ready to go, you can have your people over and enjoy yourself instead of standing there and stirring rice for 20, 30 minutes.
So it's a good dish for menus and high production if you work in a small kitchen. Obviously, this takes a long time, so to have it in advance. So you would just probably warm that back up with stock, cream.
Yeah, we'll put it right in the pan, a little bit of butter maybe, And then we put a little bit of veggie stock in there, and your accessories, whether it be grape tomatoes, some bacon lardones. And then towards the end is when we usually add our lemon zest and our basil, because we don't want to really overcook them. The fresh herbs, obviously if you cook it in the beginning, it's actually going to wilt it. It's going to destroy it. It's going to look kind of ugly.
So this dish could be completely vegetarian if people wanted it that way.
Absolutely.
Depending upon the stock that you put in.
Why did you choose, there's a shrimp component to this dish, using the vegetable stock versus a shrimp stock or, some other kind of flavored stock?
For exactly the same reason that he was just saying. We can actually make it vegetarian. We get a lot of people that come in that are, whether it be vegetarian or gluten-free, or, we have a lot of special needs people that,
Right.
they require a different type of food. So if we can make our risotto basic,
Neutral, right?
then we can add sauteed veggies to the top. We can do, salmon onto it. We can really kind of play with it.
So all of it, you kind of start with that neutral, the neutral base, and then you'll be able to kind of flavor it as you see.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Very accommodating.
Yeah.
That's nice to see. But a lot of restaurants nowadays, they just want you to order directly exactly what's there. So,
Yeah.
a lot of restrictions, people, that's good.
So our bacon's getting some nice color on it. While you're making risotto, you always want to add, instead of adding all of your liquid at the same time, it's going to kind of turn into a cake. You want to add it slowly. I always add my white wine in, and I do that all at once and kind of cook it. You can smell the white wine cooking out of it. And you're going to look at it, and you can see where it's your rice is starting to take on some of the liquid, and you cook it. And
Yeah, it's
A
always kind of
little
what?
glutinous action going on here too. You're getting like a nice cream base going already. So.
A few different additions. One kind of evaporates or absorbs, then you add the next, and kind of keep going until you get the right texture.
Yep, you got it. So we add a little bit of our veggie stock. And we got our bacon.
Smells nice up here.
Yeah, it does.
Looking forward to
It
the
does.
shrimp going into this too. I mean, you got a lot of components going on
Yeah.
here that fall into this kind of time of the year where things are a little bit hardier.
Yeah, it turns out to be a very nice plate.
Yeah.
One other thing that we're going to get going is we're going to do a little bit of a saffron cream sauce, which I think kind of ties the entire dish together.
All right.
And it's actually a really simple sauce that we came up with. We take heavy cream, which is just another little. This is absolutely a low calorie dish, without a doubt.
Well, that's okay. Wintertime we like to put that coat on because in the Northeast it gets a little cold, so
Right.
it's all right.
So we're going to get some heavy cream in here.
And saffron, the flavor that you're going to try and get out of the saffron, it's got a little pungent, flavor to it. So that's going to work along with the bacon. You're going to get the hardiness out of that,
Right.
and then the cream is kind of fattening it out. So
And then once we add our lemon to the end, it kind of cuts
give
through.
you that little
Yeah.
citrus. Nice.
Very nice.
So we're going to take our cream, we're going to get it reduced by about half, and we're going to add, it's one of my favorite ingredients. I love bay leaves. A couple of the guys think I'm a little overly obsessed with them. That's okay.
Well, I think bay leaves are pretty much used in all the stocks and all the
Yeah.
Right.
flavor
Yeah.
developments. One leaf though can be extremely powerful once it activates with liquid. So.
And the thing about bay leaves, and what I always say is it's kind of like if you have an orchestra, it's almost like the flute in the orchestra. It doesn't really, it's not booming and like the bass of the music, but it's kind of pulls it all together. And when you initially have it, it's almost like a eucalyptus or like a mentholy. If you just take a bay leaf and you stick it in your mouth, it's almost got like a mentholy kind of taste to it. But after you cook it, it almost turns into more like a tea. It's really subtle, but it definitely comes through. It's very full in your mouth.
So in your kitchen, when you want to get your chefs to go get the bay leaf, do you tell them to go get the flute?
Get the flute.
All right.
So our risotto's going nice. Bacon, just gotta go a little bit more. Good.
Yeah, it's looking nice. So what are some of the other items that you have on the menu there?
Well, we actually just did a menu change,
Okay.
and we do it about 3 to 4 times a year.
kind of going with the seasons?
Yeah, we go with the seasons. We kind of go with the trends of some things aren't going as well, some things are selling a lot of. It was last spring or the spring before, and we were like, well, we have a couple heavy pasta dishes that we were running for winter. We'll see how they go, we'll see how they sell, and maybe we'll pull them off until next fall. And all of a sudden, it like ramped up. Everybody was carbing up for the season. We were like, all right, everybody's carbing up for bathing suit season. So we left them on. They sold like crazy. But right now, we just did a new calamari, which we actually do a sweet chili sauce and a wasabi aioli with it. Little black sesame seeds on top. The pork trifecta, like
Yeah.
that you had. We do a chicken paprikash that we were actually doing sous vide, which is a long cooking process under vacuum, so there's no oxygen in the environment. And we were able to do it in a temperature-controlled water bath. And we were able to cook it for about 6 hours at a low temperature. And it just created this almost like creamy chicken that would come out of it. So we would sear it all off with the paprika on it and salt and pepper, and get the caramelization, and then be able to put it into a bag with a little bit of caramelized onions and some stock, and actually impart all of that flavors directly into the meat, and then the
Vacuum
flavor
it
of the bone.
and then throw it in the water bath. What temp do you
We were doing it, honestly, at this point,
remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I know sous vide is really this, I wouldn't say up and coming because it's been around for a long, long time, but I think it's much more utilized than it ever has been.
Definitely a little bit more relevant
Yeah.
nowadays. Chef, it just sounds like with a bistro, you've got a little angle on all kinds of cuisine going on over there. Is there the one that stands out predominantly in the mains of your dishes, or do you just kind of branch off and?
Yeah, we kind of go all over. We're doing a wasabi pea crusted salmon right now, so there's kind of our menu's kind of taking on like a little bit of an Asian influence in a way.
East meets west kind of deal?
And and about, I don't know, probably about a year ago, we were doing a little bit more heavily Italian influenced. So we just we get to play. We have full reign over the menu.
That's what a bistro is. I mean, you get to
Nice.
branch out and do a lot of a la carte and kind of experience all the different flavors of the world all into one area. And I think that actually really helps with the customer's palate too, and get some people inside that restaurant.
Right.
Chef, I know risotto takes a little while to get cooked. We've got about 12 minutes or so left on the segment.
Okay.
How we doing?
Good.
All right.
We're actually going to take, we're going to get these lardons into something here.
All right. A
Now,
little
the
plastic.
original recipe, Chef, I think that you had asked for lardons, and in this case, we took some bacon and we kind of utilized it as a substitute. Is there a difference in the texture we're going to get? Is there a difference in the cooking or the fat or?
The only difference is going to be really the size. There might be a slight texture difference, but this will be perfect. Bacon smells amazing.
Pork is pork, and I think delicious is delicious, so that'll work.
Right.
Pork's one of my favorite meats. It really is. Love it. Braised pork belly.
I was about
Man.
to say, every time that we come up with a menu, we're always teetering on the pork belly and how we can do it. So
Yeah.
So we're going to turn this down a little bit. Now we have a little bit of saffron that we want to put into our heavy cream. And saffron being I believe the stamen of a flower. You only get 2 of these, I believe, per every flower. And they are only grown, the good ones are only grown on one island in the world. And it is an amazing spice, very flavorful. Something I like to do with it, just to kind of get more color out of it, is I give it a little bit of just kind of bruise it up a little bit before I put it in there. And that kind of opens up the oils in it. Do that with a lot of my herbs. We do actually a rosemary cream sauce that we actually take bunches of rosemary and we just ball them up almost like a snowball. And then we put that into our sauce, we cook it, and then we strain it out afterwards.
Nice. Yeah, that is really, I mean, when you're working with fresh herbs, it's really the oils.
and it's the
that
activation
comes out
too.
of that.
Some of the oils that actually activate that out and help it along.
And just to kind of give our sauce a little bit extra luster, a lot of people have this in their cabinet. Nobody really knows what to do with it. We have a bunch of it at work, and we're always trying to play around with it and see what we can do. But it'll actually give a sauce a really bright yellow color. And along with the saffron, it's just going to come out and it's just going to be like fluorescent.
I think a lot of people, when they can't find saffron and they actually want to get the color of it, they actually do a combination of turmeric and some other spices to develop that kind of nice pinkish hue that comes out.
That risotto's looking nice.
Yeah, it's actually creaming out really nice.
So we're gonna, we need a couple tomatoes here. And if you're working in the restaurant and you're cutting these one at a time, you're gonna be standing there for a long time, putting up a lot of hours. What we actually do is we'll take a couple plates, and there's 2 plates in particular that we have at Bistro that we'll put them together. We'll actually put the grape tomatoes on one plate, we'll turn the other plate upside down, and we run our knife straight across it, and you get like 50 tomatoes cut within about 3 seconds.
That's nice. It works well with grapes too.
Yeah.
Kalamata olives.
Yeah.
So we're going to take these and put them right into our risotto here.
Should I get that shrimp out for you, Chef?
That would be fantastic. Those in. I'm going to bacon in here. Now that our risotto is starting to look pretty nice, we're going to get our ingredients in here. And we're really going to start infusing all the flavors of everything.
So you're going to cook this shrimp with the bacon fat? Is that the...
Exactly.
Nice.
This could be a delicious meal you're putting together here for us.
Try it. Try it.
It smells wonderful, and you know, with the bacon inside of there too, you get a nice contrast. I think you got some basil over here too, and I know you mentioned, you know, putting in it. Is there a cut of basil that you use for this? I mean, do you use a full leaf? Do you chop? Is there a proper?
I usually like to chop it. A lot of people use a chiffonade, but anything that I put on the menu, I will only put something on the menu that I will eat myself.
Okay.
And one thing about chiffonade basil, I've noticed that in a lot of things, it's very stringy. Sometimes you can get really long strings.
Depending
of
on
basil,
the roll.
you know,
Yeah.
it comes off of your spoon, it flops on your chin and whatever else. So we just kind of give it a nice rough chop and throw it in there. So really just for the ease of eating it.
I think with your dish too, with the way that it's coming out and the components, it keeps a nice rustic look to it, as the actual risotto too comes from a very hearty rustic region.
So we get our shrimp and a plate.
What you need, Chef?
Use one of these to get our shrimp on. We're going to season our shrimp up, a little salt and pepper. And one thing, I don't know if you guys have noticed, we haven't salt or peppered anything yet. Typically when we're making dishes, we really don't season it until the end, because really your salt and your pepper is what's going to bring all your flavors together. And if you salt it early, you really don't know. I mean, you're going to be reducing things, you're going to be reducing your sauce. You have all your flavors that you're trying to impart. So if you're seasoning early, you really don't know what you're trying to bring together. So we really try to season at the end of the dish. And a lot of times we keep it simple. Salt and pepper, and that's about it. So we got our bacon, we got our risotto.
Is there a specific size of shrimp that you like, or a shrimp that helps the dish that's sweeter than another that you use? Or I always ask a question right when they taste their food.
I know.
Timing.
We've been using a lot of white shrimp lately. It seems like the general consensus lately is white shrimp. They're more clean tasting than Gulf shrimp. For a while, Gulf shrimp was really big, tiger shrimp and all that, but they almost have a little bit heartier flavor to them. And it seems like
crunch, I think too. I think that's, you want a little bite to the dish, and you want a little bite to your shrimp.
right. But yeah, like 1620s is pretty much what we've been using, and they've been going really well for us. I like to leave the tail on just because of the flavor that you get out of it.
Like
we got
anything,
about
yeah.
4.5 minutes. We want to try and get some of this stuff on a plate.
Yep, we're gonna get these shrimp going.
Plenty of time left.
Now you mentioned at the end lemon zest too. That's going to go into this. So
Yep, right in
can I
the
zest
risotto.
one for you while you're cooking
Sure.
that shrimp over?
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
So, See if I still have the skill to zest. Zest for life. And you just need maybe a tablespoon or so, or?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That's all right. Okay.
Chef, maybe we can chop some basil up too?
Yeah, while I'm
Sure.
over here, take some nice leaves. This is really nice fresh basil too. This is locally grown. You just want a rough chop on this?
Yes, please.
That sauce does look nice. Nice bright yellow.
Gives a little bit of
sweeten it out.
little character to the dish.
Right, right.
So we've
So
got
the
our-
texture of risotto when it's done, what are we looking for? Because you know, like Chef Adam said, that you know that's kind of one of those dishes that.
You want it creamy. It should never look dry. Like if you look, I've seen risottos that almost come out looking like oatmeal, where it's it's not really creamy
Yeah.
looking. It doesn't look like it has any heavy cream or Parmesan, and they just come out dry looking. But
You have a plate preference here, Chef?
Actually,
Want
that rectangle
one there?
one.
Got
Okay.
that nice rectangle. You
Looking
let me know
quite
when you're
nice.
ready for this lemon and this basil.
Ready to go.
You're ready to go?
Yep.
Excellent.
So we're gonna finish it up. We're gonna go with a hearty amount of Parmesan cheese in here,
And a little bit more fat going in there.
Yeah.
All right.
and then we're gonna
And
take
I'll
our
let you put that in there, Chef.
basil, get our lemon in. I'm just gonna put it all in there.
And you want to keep a little bit of that green in there, so that's why you kept the basil to the end.
Exactly.
Looks
And you don't want to
amazing,
overcook your fresh
right?
herbs. If you're using dry herbs, though, I would add it in the beginning. That way, it has a time to rehydrate
Develop
and
a little
kind of
bit
pull
more.
out the flavors from it.
All right. Looks great.
Just try to get this a little bit.
Chef done with his cutting board here?
Yep.
This out of here?
Squeeze you out of here.
All right. We're gonna put a little bit of touch of salt into our sauce.
All right.
We're good. You know what?
Ready
I
to
think
go?
I'm gonna pull an audible.
All right.
We're gonna switch the plate real quick.
Very nice. Shrimp next.
Yes, sir. So we'll get our
Oh, that looks nice. Look at that creamy texture going on.
risotto in here. Just like that.
Wonderful.
Okay. Well, you know, us chefs, we always wipe the rim of the plate.
Right,
We're
right.
very, detailed. Nice color contrast on this
It
dish
is.
as well.
I can't,
Thank
it's
you.
going to be beautiful. And get that yellow sauce on top of there as well.
Okay.
Some of these shrimp on.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're cooking down heavy cream, you're going to get some of the milk that's going to coagulate at the top a little bit. Just stir it right in. It's just a little bit of
Very
fat.
nice. That looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. Chefs, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
On
Thanks
the
for having me.
Culinary Enthusiast. And we appreciate you coming in and sharing your knowledge with us very, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Anthony Martorello, right,
Martorello.
from Bistro 83 in North Ridgeville. Thanks again for joining us
Nice
today.
job, Chef.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Yeah, very nice. All right, very good.